Dwemer, also known as the Dwarves. They are Tamriel's greatest mystery, biggest flexers, and frankly, the most well-known quitters in the Elder Scrolls series. They built sprawling cities, mastered advanced technology, and then said, what if we all just left? I'm Shade, and today we're unpacking everything you need to know about these reclusive elves. Let's start with the basics. Who were the Dwemer? In short, they were a race of elves who said, magic is overrated, let's build robots instead that run on magic. And speaking of short, although they are known as dwarves, they weren't short at all. It's thought this name was given to them by the ancient giant races that they had befriended. Maybe the Elnifey, or maybe just regular giants. Basically, the Dwemer got stuck with the short guy nickname forever, which is ironic considering they built a 1,000 foot tall robot. The Dwemer were the Tony Starks of Tamriel. They built machines in a cave from scraps that could mine, fight, and probably do like 100 other things that no one knows about. Their cities ran on steam and magical energy, and had advanced plumbing systems that put the Imperial City sewers to shame. Their society was collectivist, focused on progress and innovation over individual achievement. They didn't just build for the sake of it. They built to survive, thrive, and dunk on everyone else. They even had their own alphabet and language with unpronounceable words, unless you're Polish. Unlike the flashy Altmer, or the ashy Dunmer, the Dwemer people were practical and secretive. They worshipped reason, logic, and innovation. No gods, no Daedra, just science, baby. Which in Tamriel is about as rebellious as walking into the Thalmor embassy wearing a Talos t-shirt. The Dwemer were Tamriel's OG skeptics. While the Altmer were lighting candles to Ariel, the Dwemer were inventing giant steam-powered centurions and big floating orbs that summoned dragons. The Dwemer weren't atheists in the we don't believe in gods sense. Oh no, they knew the gods existed, they just didn't think they were worth their time. Why? Because in their view, divine beings were flawed, and why worship the god of harvesting or whatever when you can build a god of being badass? Their beliefs even influenced their architecture and technology. Everything the Dwemer created, from their tonal machines to their gigantic cities, was designed with precision and purpose. They didn't leave room for divine intervention because, in their eyes, they didn't need it. Imagine being so anti-religion that you're basically the atheists of a universe where gods literally talk to people. Very punk rock, guys. Now you might think a civilization this arrogant wouldn't last long, but the Dwemer weren't just talk. They were smart. Like, really smart. A random crazy guy living in a glacier once said that the dullest of the Dwemer would be a genius among men. Their obsession with technology gave us some of the coolest stuff in the Elder Scrolls. Gigantic underground cities, steam-powered robots, and those puzzles and traps that make every dungeon feel like an escape room, designed by someone who really wants you blended up like a smoothie. Their creations are legendary. Mechanical spiders, mechanical spheres, big old pipes. They built these things thousands of years ago, and they still work today. And Tamriel's modern engineers can't even make a wagon that doesn't glitch through the ground. Their cities weren't just impressive, they were sprawling. Blackreach alone is big enough to make most adventurers quit halfway through. And really nothing says Dwemer like a giant cave full of robots that are trying to kill you. And let's not forget about their tonal architecture. It's thought that the Dwemer manipulated tonal magic to change the physical and magical properties of reality. They applied this magic in everything from mining to medicine. They could also do some wild stuff like mind control and force you to accidentally insult your girlfriend's grandpa at their weekend barbecue and make everything really awkward. Anyway, let's talk about the Dwemer's reputation with their neighbors. The Chimer, the ancestors of the Dunmer, were probably their biggest haters. While the Chimer were busy worshipping Daedra like Azura, the Dwemer were digging under Red Mountain, blasting Hobson, and drinking monster energy. But really, this is the Elder Scrolls. The only thing elves get along with is other elves. Okay, only elves of the same race. Okay, another fun fact. A certain Dwemer clan known as the Rorken were so annoyed with the Chimer in ancient Morrowind that they flung a hammer halfway across Tamriel and said, I guess we'll let the hammer decide where we live. Which is kind of crazy now that I think about it. That hammer fell in Hammerfell. And yes, that is why it's called that. Now, for the million Zimbabwean dollar question, why did the Dwemer disappear? Short answer, nobody knows. Long answer,
nobody knows.
Just kidding. They tried to play with a magical artifact and probably accidentally erased themselves. Here's the basics. At Red Mountain, the Dwemer discovered the Heart of Lorcan, a powerful artifact left behind after the Aedra created the world. Their chief engineer, Kagranak, thought it was a great idea to use the heart to power their new invention, a massive golem called Numidium, which they created to be their own god, among other things, because what could go wrong with that? I guess nothing screams scientific progress like poking Tamriel's most dangerous artifact with a stick until something happens. So let's talk theories, because Tamriel scholars have been debating this for centuries. Some say the Dwemer transcended their mortal forms and became immortal beings of pure logic. Others think Kagranak accidentally vaporized them. Either way, he definitely didn't win Chief Tonal Architect of the Month. Then there's the partial disappearance theory. Remember Yagrum Bygorn? Of course you do. He's the last living Dwemer, chilling in Morrowind. He was on another plane of existence when the rest of his race disappeared. Yeah, one of them lived, forgot to mention that. Anyway, he thinks the Dwemer might have been cast into another dimension, which to me is just a fancy way of saying, I don't know, maybe they wanted to obliterate themselves. So congrats Yagrum, you're now the sole representative of your species. Too bad you've got corpus disease and spider legs and live in a mushroom house, you fat Anyway, my money's still on the whole accidental Houdini theory, based on nothing more than the piles of ash you can find in Dwemer ruins. Speaking of which, let's take a moment to appreciate how much of a nightmare Dwemer ruins are, for adventurers. First, you've got the traps. Pressure plates, spinning blades, gas vents. These ruins aren't just dangerous, they're actively trying to murder you. How the hell did they even navigate all this crap? You mean to tell me that they got used to deactivating poison traps and solving mediocre puzzles every day? That seems kinda ludicrous. But maybe the Dwemer were just built different. Then there are the automatons. Dwemer spheres pop out of the walls, Centurion spiders shuffle around and shoot lightning at you, and don't even get me started on Steam Centurions. The moment you hear that psh sound, you've got about 3 seconds until your face melts off. Even though the Dwemer are gone, their influence is everywhere. Scholars study their ruins, blacksmiths use their metals, and adventurers plunder their stuff. The ruins are treasure troves of artifacts, from enchanted weapons to armor to priceless metals. Adventurers love looting them, even though the automatons are very much not okay with that. Then, if you somehow make it out of one of their underground death traps, you can sell their artifacts, because apparently, Tamriel's merchants have no ethical concerns about selling plundered cultural relics. Oh, you found this in a sacred ruin? Cool, I'll give you 5 septims for it. Even though they're gone, the Dwemer left a lasting legacy. So every time you stumble into a ruin, dodge a spinning blade trap, or get wrecked by a dwarven sphere, that's the Dwemer saying, we were here, and also, you suck at this game. So what's the takeaway here? The Dwemer were brilliant, ambitious, and maybe a little too smart for their own good. Their disappearance left Tamriel with more questions than answers. Were they destroyed by their own hubris? Did they ascend to another plane of existence? Or are they just hiding somewhere, dodging all of their unpaid taxes? If they are watching, I'd like to just say, please come back, we could really use some help with this whole industrial revolution thing. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into Dwemer lore. Let me know in the comments, what do you think happened to the Dwemer? Or let me know something else, there are no rules here. Until next time, stay curious.